Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new, my name is August Rose Crothers. I am an author, poet, content creator, founder of a literary magazine, and a reader and cozy hobbyist. Today's video, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about all of the books that I have read in 2025 so far and rate them. I told myself that this is the year that I'm finally gonna read 30 books in 1 year, which has been a long time goal of mine. I've never actually hit that goal. I've gotten close. I've gotten to like 22, 23 books in a year. But this year I am determined to hit 30 or more. So at the time of filming this, it is exactly the middle of June, it's June 15th. And I've already read a ton of books this year and we've got some time. So let's just start. I'm going to be doing these in the order of when I read them, so from the beginning of January up until now. The first book I read in 2025 was The Bookshop, A History of the American Bookstore. This is a nonfiction book, which is kind of like out of my norm of what I usually read, but it had been eyeing me for a long time in the bookstore. I thought about it for a long time in Barnes & Noble, and then I finally went and got it. I read all of it sporadically, but I loved the vibes. Obviously, I tagged a lot of stuff, and one of my dreams in life is to own a bookshop of mine one day. So this book was just so cute and it gave me so much inspiration, and I loved reading the stories of all the bookshops that people have owned. Overall, I'm going to give this a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next was my second indie author read. I have a few indie author reads of books that people that I've made friends with on TikTok or Instagram have sent me. This is one of them. This book is a kind of friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, political romance. It is called Political Affairs by Carolina Guzman. She just released her second book, and I'm definitely interested to see how the second one differs from this one. But this book was very interesting. It was about these two characters who were very close friends in college, and then something happens that separates them. And then years later, I think it was like 10 years later in the book, they are in their careers in politics and they cross paths again. And they're kind of like, it's kind of a forced proximity too. Very good. I'm so proud of Carolina for everything that she wrote and how well developed these characters are. Which I would give this a solid 4 out of 5 stars. I have another indie author read, but this is an indie poet read. Again, Ayana was so sweet. She sent me this book and I sent her my first poetry collection. It took me a while to get to this one, but I'm glad that I did early this year. This poetry collection is just so vulnerable. It's so honest. It tackles really deep, heavy topics. I absolutely loved it though. As you can see, I tagged a lot of poems. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 stars because for a poetry collection, especially for a first poetry collection from an indie poet, it's just absolutely beautiful.
And I was very lucky because Ayana read my poetry book, Visions of Deja Vu, before it came out, and she's the one that actually gave the beautiful quote on the back cover.
For the month of February, I read 2 books that had pink covers, and this was the first one. It is Drive Me Crazy by Carly Robin. This was the second Formula One romance that I read, and it is just, as a Formula One fan, reading a sports romance about Formula One, it just hits so good. I've read hockey romances and stuff, but I'm not a big fan of hockey. I just don't watch it, so it doesn't hit as well as when you are like a big fan of the sport. Characters, the banter, and the spice in this book were so amazing. She has 2 more books in the series, and I am going to read the next one probably soon. I'm going to give this a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. The other pink book that I read in February was this poetry collection, Persephone Made Me Do It by Tristan Matier. I have a few tagged things in here because this collection was good, and it has like this beautiful artwork to kind of go with the collection, but honestly overall it just didn't connect with me personally. So even though I do think it's a beautiful collection, I think a lot of people would connect with it, I am gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. So apologies.
As a writer and a reader, it's very, very hard for me to give books bad ratings because I just think of like all the love and effort that these authors put into the book. So I don't think I've ever rated a book a 1 star online anyways, because I would feel bad doing that to that author. But moving on.
So then in March, of course, I read Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. After The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I read it a couple years late, like a couple years after it came out, I was immediately itching for another Hunger Games book. So when this was announced, I immediately put it on pre-order and I waited for like a year. And I devoured this as fast as I could emotionally because this book is very much an emotional whirlwind. And I definitely cried like 5 different times. but it's still so good. Like, I have to say that this has become probably one of my favorite Hunger Games books. But yes, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 stars. Again with the sad books. My next one was Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. I was recommended this book because it has similar themes and kind of something similar going on to a character in my current work in progress fiction novel. This book was so good. I kid you not. The first 3 pages made me cry. And as you can see, I tagged a lot in it. There was a lot of inspiration in this book for my current work in progress, so I'm definitely going to be revisiting this a lot. Basically, if you don't know Tuesdays with Morrie, it's about this younger man, and he finds out that a professor that he was very close with in college, he finds out that this professor is very sick and he's dying. And so every Tuesday for the remainder of Morrie's life, Mitch is spending these Tuesdays with Morrie. And it's a very good story. It's very reflective on life, and I feel like there's a lot of lessons that you could take away from this book no matter what time you read it. So this is like a 5 out of 5 stars. I'd highly recommend anyone and everyone reading this book. I was really hoping I wouldn't do this to a book this year, but this happened. My next book is a DNF, aka did not finish. It is Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. It's a fiction novel. I got about 50 pages in, and it was good. It was interesting, but I think because I was reading Tuesdays with Morrie and Sunrise on the Reaping at the same time, it was hard for me to tackle this one on two and get interested in it. I'm not going to rate it because I didn't finish it, and I'm not going to say anything bad about it because, like I said, the first 50 pages were very interesting. I had to put it down for right now, so hopefully I can pick it back up again in the future. This next one is Soft Thorns by Bridget DeVoe, and say to anybody who's read this poetry collection and loved it, I'm very sorry. I really did not like this poetry collection. This is going to be probably the one and only book in my life that I openly publicly on social media give a bad rating, because the style of poetry is just not for me. Like, other people may love it and that's great, but this style of poetry I just feel that I have outgrown in my life. With that, I'm gonna give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. This poetry collection is Lullabies by Lang Leaf. I picked up this book because I know her husband, Michael Faudet, is my favorite poet ever. I have read his books 2-3 times. I bought this last year, but I didn't get to pick it up until like March, April of this year. Actually, February, March, April. Like, I kind of held on to this one for a long time until I finished it. As you can see, I tagged some stuff. Some stuff was really great. This was a good collection. It just didn't connect with me right now, but I did love her style and her tone, and I'm definitely going to pick up more collections from her. So with that, I'm going to give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. The third poetry collection, and my last poetry collection I read this year, it's another indie poet, 3 Years by Jane Bella Karkover. This is another one where she sent me her book, and I've kind of gone back and forth a few. Like, I've had it on and off for a while, and I've gone back and forth and like picked it up and gone back, which is why I still have a bookmark. Overall, it's a very beautiful collection. It tackles many different topics, and I love her style, and I love how unique this collection is. Like, even the cover is so unique. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Again, support your indie authors. These books in my summer reads recs. In April and May, I read all 3 of the Summer I Turned Pretty series. Watched the TV show first, and I am not Team Conrad. I'm very sorry to the ladies who are. I watched the show first, and I just couldn't understand why people were Team Conrad, and a lot of comments online were saying like, oh, read the books, read the books, read the books. So I read the books, and I still don't get it. Conrad's just kind of like mean, and in the 3rd book he changes a lot, but it feels almost out of character for just like how he was in the previous books. But I will say, so I was thinking a lot about these books today when I was planning this video, and these books are young adult, but the books and the show have captivated audiences of all ages, and I really do believe it's because characters like Conrad and Belly and Jeremiah and Susanna are just so complex that even though these books are young adult, these complex characters are really like attracting audiences of all ages. And so even though I'm not Team Conrad, I can appreciate the complexity in his character. And these books were super quick. They were easy. I love the vibe. They're great, but I'm going to individually rate them. So the first one, The Summer I Turned Pretty, this is getting a a 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. It's Not Summer Without You. I'm gonna rate it a 3.5 out of 5. And then We'll Always Have Summer. I'm gonna rate it a 3 out of 5. Feel like the first one was just so good that the other two I think are necessary, but I didn't feel like they were on the same level as the first one, especially since like Steven isn't even really in the other two books, and I loved Steven's relationship with Belly in the first book. And for my most recent read, it was Ride With Me. I also put this in my summer book racks.
But now that I'm done finishing this, I'm gonna take this off my summer book racks and I'm gonna put it on our Christmas list because it takes place from like November to February. And even though I put it on the summer book racks because they kind of travel a lot, so it has that, the greatest scenes in the book happen on like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year.
So this is Simone Saltani's second Formula One romance book. I loved her first one, and I really liked the second one. I love the wittiness, the banter. I love how even though it's a freaking 450-page book, like I can just blow through it because it's just so good. I love that the characters feel very well-rounded, and they don't feel like I'm not questioning why her characters are together. In her first book, the couple being together, it was such an obvious choice, and then I feel the same way in this book. Like, I really would believe that this couple would work well in real life, and the romance is just so perfect. So that is a total of 15 books. I'm currently reading Beach Read by Emily Henry. I'm gonna make this video again at the end of the year, going over all of the books that I read in 2025. If you stay till the end of the video, please comment down below what you're currently reading right now or what's currently on your list. If you like videos like this, please like and subscribe for more. It really helps channels like mine grow. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.